When it comes to the actual interface, Windows Server 2016 has not actually changed that much from Windows Server 2012. So rather than just tell you that, I thought it might make you a little bit more comfortable if I were to go through the installation of Windows Server 2016 so you could see it for yourself and really see that it's not that much different, so that if you've already been using Windows Server 2012, you can feel pretty comfortable jumping right in and playing with Windows Server 2016. Now to do this, I have created a brand new virtual machine on my computer. It's right down here at the bottom of my list. It's called Windows Server 2016. And there's really nothing that I've done to explicitly set up this machine other than I made sure that it had an emulated DVD drive, and I put the DVD image of Windows Server 2016 Technical Preview 5 into the drive. So let's go ahead and start this machine and, well, let's see what happens. So as I power it on, see it says press any key to boot. So I will press the space bar on my keyboard. And you'll see here, it does tell us it's Windows Server 2016 Technical Preview 5. But quite frankly, if you were looking at this, it really doesn't look any different than how Windows Server 2012 setup looked. So we just go ahead and pick our language and country, click Next, and then we choose to install now. At this point, it now launches the setup utility itself. Now, this is one thing that is a little bit different, and this has to do specifically with the technical preview. It does ask you for an actual key that you're supposed to type in here. You can get that key when you go to the TechNet Download Center and get your copy of Technical Preview 5. But for right now, I'm going to click that I don't have a product key. It will still install. It just won't activate once the installation has completed. So now I get to choose either standard or data center. And for each one, I either just get Windows Server 2016 Technical Preview, or I get Windows Server 2016 Data Center Technical Preview. And if I scroll this over, Desktop Experience. So the ones that don't say Desktop Experience are Server Core. And then the ones that do say Desktop Experience, which is the one I'm going to click, is like the full installation with GUI from Windows Server 2012. So I'll click Next. Now you have your license agreement. I will accept the terms, click Next. Again, looks just like Server 2012. I can either do an upgrade or custom for a new installation, which is what we're going to do here. We see our hard drive. We can partition it if we want to, but if I just click Next, it'll just create a partition and install on the entire drive. And at this point, it just goes through. And again, if you've ever done this in Windows Server 2012, it looks exactly identical. It copies Windows files, it gets ready for installation, it installs features and updates, and then it finishes up. And this process, depending on the speed of your machine, might take a few minutes and could involve some reboots. So what I'm going to do is, through the magic of video editing, I will go ahead and just take us to the end, basically, when we're at the very next step. So if you happen to be following along and you're trying to do this on a machine on your end, then feel free to go ahead and pause this video and then resume when you get to the next step where it's asking you to do something. Okay, so the processes have completed, the reboots have gone through, and just like in Windows Server 2012, we are sitting here at a screen that says, hey, now you need to set up a password for your administrator account. So I will go ahead and type in that password, and I actually have to do it twice here. You have to enter it and re-enter it. Make sure you don't make any typos, and then I will click Finish. And again, just like with Windows Server 2012, it will take you to a login screen where you can press Control-Alt-Delete, enter your password, and you can log in. And guess what's going to open when we log in? Nope, this is just asking me about my network, so I'm okay there. That's right, you guessed it, the Server Manager. And even the Server Manager looks pretty much like it did in Windows Server 2012. And in fact, again, just to stick with the whole similarity, if you've worked with 2012, you know that when you first boot up a machine, you end up with these red warnings because of all the delayed services and stuff like that. Same thing holds true, at least in the technical preview of Windows Server 2016. All right, so from here, you would go ahead and you would do everything just like you would in Windows Server 2012. You would configure this local server, come in here, give it a name, join a domain if you need to. You can go ahead and set up your IP configuration. Over here, we can do Windows Update. Everything you would do exactly the same as you would do it in Windows Server 2012, including the adding of roles and features. All right. So again, if you've worked with Windows Server 2012, I didn't really show you anything here that you didn't already know how to do. But hopefully by going through and seeing me do it and maybe doing it yourself, it gives you the confidence to feel comfortable to go in and start playing with Windows Server 2016.